Yo, I'm Bob. Totally blind since birth into Power Rangers. Got the Shout Factory box set in my hands. Talking about Season 2, Episode 27 of Mighty Morphin. This is the Power Transfer Part 1. It's the 87th episode of the show overall, and it premiered on November 8th in 1994. I wouldn't see Part 1 the day it premiered, but I would see the exciting conclusion the very next day. And speaking of the following day, when I got to school that particular day, everybody who'd seen the episode was talking about the big bad debut of Serpentera. We all, yes, including me, we all had visions of evil Zords dancing in our heads where toys were concerned, because Christmas was about a month and a couple weeks away, so I'm sure a lot of folks were marking this ginormous Zord down on their Christmas list. I don't know when the toy of Serpentera was released. I certainly didn't find one around Christmas of 94. I would actually find mine during the summer of 1995, right after Power Rangers the movie was released. I'll get into Serpentera actually finding that Zord and taking it home at the end of the video. But yeah, in this episode, Jason, Trini, and Zach are headed to Switzerland. They've been selected to go to the Peace Conference. I like how taken aback Bulk and Skull are at the beginning of the episode. They're sitting there dreaming about what it'll be like if they were peace ambassadors, talking about how good Swiss chocolate's going to be that particular time of year. Skull does this hilarious, it sounds like a Swedish chef voice when he's talking to Bulk about Switzerland. So I guess he's a Muppet fan. And Lord Zed is on the moon, but he's also over the moon because, well, now that these three have been selected, the Rangers are going to be at half strength, and it is time, as he says, to unleash his newest demon of destruction. So he cannot wait to destroy the Rangers himself. I'm not sure how long Zed has been building Serpentera, but as Zordon is congratulating Jason, Trini, and Zach for being selected to go on the Peace Conference, the alarms start going off, and Zordon says the day that he has feared has arrived. So apparently he's known about this construction project. I would imagine Zed kept it well hidden from Zordon. Definitely hadn't been constructed on the moon. I would imagine it's probably in another galaxy entirely, and it is being shipped via the 90s version of Amazon Prime to Lord Zed. So it's just arrived, and he's quite happy. So all six Rangers are going to have to go to the deserted planet, find the Sword of Light, which is going to be crucial in the power transfer, transferring those powers to the three new Rangers. And speaking of transferring, I like the scenes with Rocky, Adam, and Aisha in this episode, because they're transferring to Angel Grove from Stone Canyon, and they make this crack about how bad the Stone Canyon food is, the Angel Grove cafeteria food. Well, it's just got to be better than Stone Canyon. So it's about lunchtime as they're, trying to get their stuff in order. I like how nice Bulk is to Aisha in this episode. He's wanting to help her with her books, with her locker, I think. And it's just a really cool little scene there of Bulk trying to be helpful. I don't know if he suspects Aisha of being a Power Ranger. Maybe he has a bit of a thing for her, which is also really cool. But it's a really neat little scene, and I like stuff like this in Season 2 and beyond. These little bits of character development with Bulk and Skull. Remember how much they bullied the Rangers in Season 1. So you've got everybody arriving on the deserted planet, and well, it's pretty much deserted. I like seeing the Rangers showing up there. Serpentera is hot on their heels. I forgot to mention that everybody apparently forgot about Tor in A Monster of Global Proportions. I guess Beamcaster did something to everyone's brains, including Zordon's. Well, maybe his brain power coupled with Beamcaster's canceled the memories of Tor out, because he's telling everybody, hey, there's this new Zord you got. His name's Tor, and call on him for aid, because Serpentera is going to be really tough. And so you've got Jason, who calls on the Red Dragon Thunder Zord. Lord Zed's laughing as his skinless keister off at Jason's Zord there, calling it a mosquito. I would imagine Serpentera probably dwarfs the Zords. And, well, If you were to ask me, Bob, do you wish Hasbro would make that in the Zord Ascension project, I would come back at you with a question like this. Do blind people read Braille? Yes, of course I wish Hasbro would make that as some kind of Zord Ascension project. I would imagine this thing would be ginormous and probably have to be a HasLab project, but wow. Serpentera would be more than welcome in my Zap Zord collection. So, I mean, the Rangers are pretty much running for their lives on the planet. Things are not going so well. Serpentera can fire these massive energy blasts from his mouth. He can go from serpentine mode into warrior mode. Standing the toy up and turning him into warrior mode was quite easy. You just kind of, rotated the tail around. You stood him up on his back feet. You raised the shoulder armor plates up. You raised the arms. You opened his claws and you tilted the head forward, and there he was in this ginormous warrior mode back in the day. So he's just sitting there trying to mash Tor, the poor shuttle Zord. And Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, they've got to go on their own little mission because Lord Zed's apparently going to knock everyone out on the planet, so it'll be impossible for Zordon to find new Rangers. So Squat and Babu, in the meantime, they've taken this sleep machine to Earth. Babu apparently likes inhaling the sleep gas, and Squat kind of gives him a bit of what for when he does this. So I think Babu needs to go to monster rehab. He has an unhealthy addiction to sleep gas. I really hope he gets the help that he needs. So yeah, Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, they are captured by putties. And you know how the miniseries episodes end. Lord Zed's about poised to destroy the planet. The Rangers are trying to get the Sword of Light out of the statue's hands. They got a map and a ring, so the map's already been used. The ring's going to come into play in part 2. And Zed is gloating. He says goodbye, Power Rangers, as the episode ends. And everything is quite dark and foreboding. But of course, you know the old saying, it's darkest before the dawn. I loved the episode when I'd see it in reruns. I think I saw this one quite a few times. It was one of my favorites. And when it comes to getting Serpentera, I had no idea they made him until I was at a Service Merchandise in 1995. I was with my aunt, and we were hanging around the toy section of Service Merchandise, and she's like, do you have something called Serpentera? And I could not get any words out. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, it's called Lord Zed's Mighty Morphin Power Zord Serpentera. If I could have been able to see, I probably would have been blinded by the beautiful box art, and I probably would have fainted. I probably came very close to fainting because this was one of my all-time favorite bad guy super weapons, aside from the Technodrome. And funnily enough, Serpentera lost power just about as much as the Technodrome did in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll get into that in future episodes. But yeah, it was quite a fantastic July day. And she didn't even make me wait for my birthday. I think my mom had sent some mad money along, and I can't remember if she bought it or if it was from Mom's allowance, but I remember grabbing it, and we were lugging this huge box out to her car. And it's one of those fanschmabulous childhood memories in which, well, I had no idea something was out there, because this is back before, the internet was really a thing. And here's this massive villain's Zord right there on the toy shelf, and it really felt surreal. Yeah, I would welcome it in the Lightning collection if it ever does become a thing in modern times. I think my brother might still have his Serpentera. He did get one for Christmas one year. We actually had two at one time. I had one, he had one, so we were pitting them both against all the other Zords. So it used to be really fun to have two Serpenteras going after Thunder Megazord and Tiger Zord and all that. It was one of the coolest toys from my childhood, and I definitely give it a 10 out of 10. Anyway, next time we're going to be talking about part 2 of the power transfer, so be here for that, and may the power protect you.